Try and give a quick demo here. Unfortunately, a lot of the included tracks and videos are either jazz music or videos accompanied by jazz music. That probably doesn't bother the majority of you. For someone like me who doesn't even class jazz music as music, it's slightly off-putting, but it's a good way of demonstrating the multimedia capabilities of the phone. You've got a few games included, a couple from Astroware, Sudoku and Pt.2. They are trial versions though, and obviously the standard Bubble Breaker and Solitaire. And that really is it for the first look. I've had a play with a couple of things. The camera can produce some nice pictures. It's not the quickest though, particularly indoors. Without doubt though, if you do take your time, it's Sony Ericsson, it's a 3.2 megapixel camera, you're going to get good results. And the same would apply to the taking videos. All in all, this phone is my first impression after a couple of hours is that it's trying to be all things to all people, and consequently it ends up being maybe a bit of a mishmash of, I mean, the panel sums it up. For example, here you've got your standard Today screen, which is what we're used to seeing, which incidentally looks very nice on the WVGA resolution, and the fact that it's a 3-inch screen helps. So there's one panel, it's a standard Today screen. Let's look at the next one. It's a clock with some shortcuts at the bottom and some information about communications, plus down here some calendar entries. We can then move on to the next one, which is effectively an HTC style Today screen with a calendar, the weather, calendar entries, some RSS feeds and some shortcuts. We'll go back again. You can download for free, and it's heavily publicised, SPB Mobile Shell, which effectively is the same thing again. Obviously over time different panels will be released by third-party developers that have various uses. What I'm failing to understand at the moment is, yes, of course everyone is different and everyone will want maybe a different Today screen or a different theme. I'm slightly at a loss as to why we have so many variances here. And it's a similar thing with even just the keyboard or the keypad at the front. You've got an optical sensor there, which so far I haven't touched at all because it's not very good. It's almost close to pointless. Around it you've got your 4-way nav pad, effectively doing the same thing. Again, it's something else where you've got two features that copy each other. Another example of trying to do maybe too much, and ultimately they get in the way of each other. You can disable parts so it's not an issue. My view of panels at this moment is that it's more of a hindrance than a help. It looks lovely in the marketing pictures. Is it of actually any use? Probably not. Do they need it to make the X1 look just that little bit different from all of the other Windows Mobiles devices out there? And obviously there is a lot. They probably do. It's just, I mean, if I use it in this mode, everything's fine, everything works as it should. I think the problem Sony Ericsson has when you do that is that it is then a Windows Mobile phone with GPS, with Wi-Fi, HSDPA, a decent camera, etc. And all of that is great and all of that works well. But it's £500 and it is still Windows Mobile, literally one click beneath that nice looking panel surface. Personally, I'm not impressed with panels at all, and I actually think it's a shame it's there. Everything else is growing on me quite a lot. I think as a music player, as a video player, As a camera, a GPS device, TomTom works extremely well on it. I think it's got a lot going for it. The keyboard gets better the more you use it, and it's hard not to like the design. Just everything about the build is impressive. I'm not convinced that this isn't a case of design over function. Having said that, if you ignore the poncy bits that simply aren't needed, it could be the best, well, it probably is the best Windows Mobile smartphone to date. Does it compete with the likes of the iPhone, the BlackBerry Bold? Personally, it's a league away, and it's unfortunate that although Windows Mobile is the most powerful OS in the market, although it's the most flexible with the amount of third-party applications available, everyone else has moved on. We've moved on now to devices that you turn on. As an example, my current favourite, turn it on, quick whiz round, there's no delays anywhere, everything feels as though it works just perfectly, and away you go. It takes nothing at all to pick up the BlackBerry and use it. Yes, it's not ideal for many people, but it's just an example of a phone that you pick up, it's super reliable, and the technology is hidden. The underlying technology is hidden from the user. You pick it up, it does what you want it to do. This feels like a computer. It actually does feel like a small computer. And all this nice design, I would have thought that there would have been other ways to cover it. Unfortunately, while you're using Windows Mobile, I think the thing to do is accept that it is Windows Mobile, which works, and it works quite well. Not try and fluff it up with fancy panels or touch flow, because quite frankly, number one, it just gets in the way, and it's verging on patronising. I can't believe many people will actually pick up one of these phones or one of the new HTC Touch devices and keep those parts. If they're even aware that you can turn them off, I'm fairly convinced that they will. So, despite my little rant there, there is something special about this phone, and I'm going to be reviewing it over the next 3 days on Pt.2 and it'll be interesting to see. I have a feeling my initial impressions are slightly more negative than they should be, and I suspect we'll have to wait and see that in 3 days, will this be able to replace this? Do you know, I actually don't know at the moment. It will be interesting to see. Thanks for listening.